Mic check. Mic check, 1, 2, mic check. Alright. Alright. Camera's working. Audio's working. Frames are not dropping as far as I can tell. Everything seems to be quite alright. Coming through loud and clear. Alright, looking good. Looking good, ready for takeoff. We're back with some more Flight Simulator. Today is a little bit of a spotty stream. And for this session, we're gonna go from... I'm gonna put you up on the big screen here. We're gonna go from Christchurch to Queenstown in New Zealand. And we're gonna try to fly a jet for the very first time. I have not tried flying a jet yet. We'll see how that goes. We're gonna do live flight conditions. Cruise altitude is at 8,500 feet. That's a bit high. We'll probably never reach that. That's fine though. We're flying a jet, right? After all. Alright, chat's up and running. If you come into the chat, say hi. Always nice to chat to you. There's about of 25 minutes time. Let's say we spend 2 minutes starting and 2 minutes landing, then we have 20 more minutes to chat. Let's go. Let's go fly. Switched a couple of settings around, so the viewing experience should be a little bit smoother this time around. We'll see about that. Famous last words from a streamer, right?
Christchurch Tower, Bunny Hop, Bravo 236, ready at runway 2 west departure.
Our call sign, Bunny Hop 236.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 west departure approved.
That's our jet, we're on the taxiway.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 2, Bunny Hop, Bravo 236.
We cleared for takeoff. And we took off the parking brakes. And now we will see what happens, I guess. I have no idea what the correct speeds are for this. Apparently we passed our takeoff zone. This cockpit is taking some getting used to. 70% throttle.
236, continue for west departure. I will contact you next when you leave my airspace. Bunny Hop, Bravo 236, you are leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Let's announce. Acknowledge
Christchurch Tower, Bunny Hop, Bravo 236, frequency change.
Clear flaps. And this is around Christchurch, I guess. So, oh, we need to get our gear in. How do we... Hold on. Pause. What's the button for landing gear? So far, I have not flown a... Which one's button 12? Here we go. Nope. Ah, there we go. Landing gears. Got that figured out. Master warning reset, park brake. Yep, did that by accident. And What is IIT? No idea what that is. Alright, we do have cruise altitude. Let's get into cruise attitude. This was easier than I thought it would be. Let's set our trim. Let's try setting our trim. This should work just the same as it does for the training pilots, right?
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Yes, overspeed.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
I gotcha. Overspeed. Ogre speed. Okay, looking good so far. No engine fire yet. This is an entirely new cockpit, entirely new experience. I have no idea what half of these instruments mean. I know my center console screen right here is probably the main thing that I'm going to be going off. I've never landed the jet. So, maintain 250 knots or less when flying below Yes, we are still above 250 knots. So you cut back on engine power a little further. I think I need to set the trim a little further. Here we go. We're a little below cruise altitude, so let's try to get back to cruise altitude. We're below 250 knots. So far so good, if you ask me. Our trim's not working, or not set correctly just yet. Need to readjust the trim. So I don't look outside. What I'm doing mainly is looking at this screen right here, dead center, right? So I'm trying to figure out the trim for cruise.
New Zealand 5328, climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Climb and maintain 10,000 feet, New Zealand 5328.
I don't know where can I see the trim inside this airplane? Like, what can I see? How can I see what my trim is currently set to? It must be somewhere. I'm just not familiar with this cockpit, so what I typically do is I go into this perspective and then look down here. My trim is set to 40% right now. We're a little bit off course. So let's try course correct without crashing. I'm gonna go for a 5-degree turn here. This is about 5 degrees. Man, this game looks good. Our sleek jet right here. Over in New Zealand. Nice weather. Getting back on course. You can see the heat flare. Okay, it's time to course correct. We're still losing altitude. I'm going to increase the trim to 45%. Just so we stop losing altitude. We have 2 engines, that's new. I'm gonna give a little bit more speed. Because we keep going lower and lower. We're losing altitude. Okay, now we're gaining back altitude. I would say for my first time flying a jet, this is not too terrible. We haven't crashed yet. We have not crashed yet. Also, we're not playing on full difficulty, so this is obviously a simulation where you can tweak parameters to each individual pilot's liking and skill level. I'm feeling we should increase our speed now. I think we're good. Need the instruments back. Okay. We're straight on course. I tweaked the HDR to streaming settings a little bit so the colors don't look as funky as they did in the last stream. It's still a little bit oversaturated if you ask me. Should be fine now. We're gaining speed or we're losing altitude. So I'm going to increase the speed just a little further on the throttle. Should be turning on our lights, the beacon. Those are still greenest of green isles down there in New Zealand. It's on my bucket list. I want to be there. I want to go there in New Zealand. Still haven't made it to cruising altitude yet. I'm gonna give it a. I'm gonna give it just a tad much, just a tad more. So we're climbing now, quite rapidly. I'm gonna set the trim back at 40%. I'm watching my vertical speed. It's all over the place after adjusting the trim. I don't know why they're telling me to increase pitch, because I'm not in danger of crashing anything, right? Am I? I mean, I'm sitting in an airplane, I'm always in danger of crashing, but I'm not doing anything significantly wrong right now. Chat, come on, help me out.
New Zealand Center Bunny Hop Bravo 236 is type Cessna C25C to 1 miles southeast of November Zulu Alpha Mike. Request flight following. Bunny Hop Bravo 236 New Zealand Center. Squawk 7273. Squawk 7273 Bunny Hop Bravo 236. Bunny Hop Bravo 236 radar contact to 1 mile southeast of November Zulu Alpha Mike 8,100 feet. Altimeter 29.81. Copy Bunny Hop Bravo 236.
This is us. Yes. Alright, we're at cruising altitude. 8,500 feet. I always forget to start the timer on our nav log. Look, it seems like we have passengers. Is that true? Or is that just an empty seat? Oh, it's an empty seat. Okay, no passengers. Just a pilot and a co-pilot. We're still climbing. The trim is reacting like violently in this jet. Let's hope we can land it. It's like out over the ocean. A little off course. Let's see if we can correct. He should be coming in. Everything seems to be okay so far. Just cruising. Just cruising. We should be there in a couple of minutes. At this speed anyways. Let's see what it says. Estimated time en route. Do we see that somewhere in here? Why is my zoom not working? I feel like I also can't... Why can I not touch any of these? Somewhere in here it must say... ETE, estimated time en route? Nope. It gives me the current time. Fuel. We're still climbing. adjusting the trim further. This one's counting up. I don't see it. Shouldn't be climbing that much anymore. Yep, in fact we are adjusting down. Let's go back to cruising altitude. We're about 10,000 feet. We set our cruising altitude to 8,500. We don't want to get too high. I hope I got my gears out. Landing gear, yes, that's something. Let me check that real quick. Controls. Is that on here? By name, gear, toggle landing gear, button 12. Yes, okay. We got that. I think our goal airport is somewhere over here. Here? No? Yes? Or are we moving away from it? Oh, actually, don't tell anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, due to pilot error, we've been going into the wrong way the whole time. I was so concentrated on getting the machine up from the airport that we actually went into the wrong direction, and everybody in chat was screaming, "Wrong way, wrong way." So we'll have to turn around and go back. Well, we learned something, right? Always check flight directions after takeoff. We just took off and flew away in a straight line. Like straight away from where we actually wanted to go. So this is, just as it says on the compass, this is North New Zealand, which is not the direction that we want to go to. Which one are we going to again? We descended, we left Christchurch, yes. And the goal that we wanted to be at, our arrival airport, is southwest of that, and we flew straight north. So we're just circling back here. Well, you live, you learn. Now we're in the correct heading. Now we're head on. Dead on. Just need to get the machine straight. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax. We are now on course. We course corrected. We will pass over Christchurch, the airport that we departed from, in about the same amount of time that we've already flown, so maybe 20 minutes, and we should be back where we started from. The next round of champagne is on the captain. So far, no dropped frames. Streaming quality should be excellent. As far as I can tell, anyways. I have no idea what request Class C airspace transition means, or IFR clearance for instrument FP. Oh, some minor turbulences there. You can see the machine. Oh, the scroll wheel started working again. The machine is bouncing up and down a little as we head on into the correct direction of today's flight. Flight number B. Oh, we're a little high. Maybe that's why we're up in this. We just trimmed down to 20% at this speed, so that we come down a bit. I'm playing with a HOTAS, hands-on throttle and stick. Got my stick right here, got my throttle right there. It's a, what is it, X52 Pro? Or non-pro? I don't know. Is it a pro? It's an X52 Pro. Formerly by Cytec. I think Logitech sells them now. Got a little bit pushed off course here by the turbulences. I'm gonna correct a little bit for that. Dang it, this game looks good. Do you remember, like, back in the day when Google Earth was a thing and everybody was like looking up their houses? This is just like Google Earth. Interesting. It's just like Google Earth but with an airplane. See these fields over here that are like circular? Must be like because of their irrigation system or something that these are like most obviously circular. They might have like an irrigation thing that goes like in around. So that's why the field is shaped the way it is. There's like a couple of square fields like down here, like, but these are circular. So this warning, I would like to ignore this warning. Yes, please. I'm not sure why he keeps telling me that. I think we're doing good. This fisheye perspective making me nauseated. What is a good perspective though? Move us still a couple degrees to the right. We're still climbing. But a bit much correction. On the trim. I'm gonna reduce engine power just a tad. So we stop pushing upwards. You can see, you can anticipate the curvature of the Earth, which is like a really nice detail. Whose airspace are we in and why is nobody following us? Is it because we took off in the wrong direction? We should be, we're like 10 minutes, we're halfway back from where we started. These mountains look nice. Yes, this is New Zealand. We're flying over New Zealand. We have clear skies. Just a tad cloudy. Perfect flying conditions, if you guys ask me. Why are we not losing any altitude? Like, am I doing this wrong? Like, what is it? I was under the impression that you adjust your trim for vertical cruise attitude, but my machine keeps going up, 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 up. So the vertical speed just keeps bouncing up and down. And we're like at 10,000 feet is typically an altitude where you would find like the big airliners cruise at. We have set our cruising altitude to 8,500. See that? My vertical speed goes upwards now. I don't want that to happen. I want to keep, I'm going to push my nose down a little bit, so I correct for that. I'm going to keep losing altitude until we're back to about 8,500 feet. We're dead on this time. Heading off 216 degrees. We're a little too fast because we're losing altitude. I'm not sure. So can you set airspeed right here? This TAS is at traffic airspeed, total airspeed. And keep pushing down the nose. Just so we're coming down.
New Zealand 608 descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
10,000 feet. That's what I said. So
Descend and maintain 10,000
the airliner jets are cruising at an altitude about 10,000 feet. So we are right at that height.
New Zealand 558 climb and maintain 10,000 feet.
That's why you can hear the tower request. The air traffic control is requesting the airlines, like the big liners of the airlines, to cruise at 10,000 feet. To basically have that airspace reserved, more or less, so to say. We have to keep pushing down the nose so that we keep going down. We're just gonna
Money Hawk Bravo 236 contact Bay approach on 123.8.
we do.
New Zealand 608, you are 19,100 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. 123.8, Money Hawk Bravo 236. Descend and maintain 10,000. Bay approach Money Hawk Bravo 236, 9,600 feet. Money Hawk Bravo 236, Bay approach, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.85.
So above 250 knots we're considered excessive on the airspeed, according to that message that just showed up. Silence. So quiet in here. It's just so boring that you don't like. I can like go up and up. Is that more to your liking? Which perspective do you prefer? This shows a little bit more the movement of the airplane. Our speed's still increasing. I'm gonna throttle a little bit further down. I like this perspective because it has like these generic controls that are like virtually everything you need to operate a plane like this at the at when cruising, basically. Like, it doesn't take much to keep this thing in the air. At least not on the difficulty settings that I play at. Not that it's super hard. Alright, so we are now, I can't figure out this cruise altitude. Like, we're still losing altitude. We'll just stay at 8,000 feet if we can, please. Maybe comment a little. Screaming hills, rolling mountains. I have to get a couple more hours in here. I feel like we're like, I'm not doing this thing with the altitude correctly. Like, I overshot my goal of 8,500 feet coming down from 11,000 by 2,500 feet. So I should have like probably started counteracting the trim there a little bit already. Maybe it's because I took away more engine power. To not be over 250 too much, to not stress out the engines. I'm not sure what that is over there. It's a marker, right? So assistance, I don't want that. Navigation aids. POI markers off, please. Airport markers off, please. Thank you. Fixed it. So the relationship between trim and engine power, I have not figured that out yet for this plane. Like what's a proper trim setting for cruising speed? Ladies and gentlemen, yes, you are flying with a total newbie. That's why the tickets were so cheap. There's a couple of turbulences here. So I have to keep pushing back on the yoke. Pulling back. So I'm going to be trimming some more. Until the vertical speed marker stops like jumping violently up and down. I think we're good here. Look, no hands. Hands free flying. We need to course correct a little bit to the right. Just a tad. Alright, so our originally estimated arrival time is now over. We've been flying for a little over half an hour now. Original flight time was like 25 minutes or so. Give it 20 minute extra for going in the wrong way and 20 minutes extra back. So we're at about 0 now? Does that make sense? No, we should be further than that. We should be further than that. Also, flight following is not as chatty this time around. Let's see. Airport's farther from me. Christchurch. This is where we left. Yes. Nope, that's not what I wanted.
May approach Bunny Hop Bravo 236. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace. Bunny Hop Bravo 236 may approach. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
I have no idea what Charlie airspace
Bunny
is.
Hop Bravo 236.
I just wanted to browse through the airport list, but there's a delay. So that's why I misclicked. Well, now we know it's Charlie airspace, and I just have to read up on what that means. We wanted to go to Queens. It's not here yet. It's not listed yet. Still have some way to go, I guess. It's not listed on the nearest airports.
Bunny Hop Bravo 236, you are leaving my airspace. Resume on navigation. Contact New Zealand Center on 120.9er. 120.9er for Bunny Hop Bravo 236. New Zealand Center, Bunny Hop Bravo 236, 7,400 feet. Bunny Hop Bravo 236, New Zealand Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.86.
So on these flights, I typically turn on flight following just so that I have something to do. They're a little bit more chatty usually. And also they ask you to verify visual on airplanes around you, which gives you a little bit more to do, like on these flights. This keeps telling me that, and it's annoying. There should be a button that says like, yes, I acknowledge this. Don't show this specific message ever again. It's amazing. Clouds in the mountains. Clouds overhead. Like, looks like a real cloud formation. And it is supposedly the actual, not cloud formation, but weather conditions over New Zealand. No more circular irrigation system though. Ask again. Seems to be like a river running over here. There's like this HDR looks wonky. Like back here. Like how it like burns out. It looks a little better in the stream than it actually does on my screen. Does New Zealand have mountains higher than 8,000 feet? Because if they do, we would crash right into them right now. This looks so nice. Look at this. Like the blue. The icy blue of the river running through here. Like this is the clearest mountain water probably. Oh, we have turbulences. We do have turbulences. I'll let it climb at that rate so we get back to our goal altitude, or at least cruising altitude. We've not entered anybody's airspace, any airport's airspace just yet. We are not on the radar of anyone right now. Yeah, don't zoom in too far because this starts looking sketchy. But also the fisheye perspective is not revealing a little bit. Like at least when you're moving around. Snow-capped peaks. I think we have a good thing going here, but the last time I said that we were flying off in the wrong direction for like 20 minutes. So take that for what you will. This is the light. So transitioning to this jet from the Cessna training plane that you're flying as part of the flight school, that is in this, it's rather rudimentary. I wouldn't call it flight school. I wouldn't even call it tutorial, but it's like an introduction into the like aviation systems of Flight Simulator. And the Cessna actually is pretty forgiving. It's kind of like your starter driving school car. It's very forgiving. This one's more fickle though, like because speeds are obviously a lot higher of the jet engines. Two of them. So like the corrections on the stick are a lot more pronounced at higher speeds. I'm getting pushed around by this turbulence just a tiny bit. Also, you don't have the nice music, like the elevator music, while in flight. This looks nice, like a sheet of ice. Like a sheet of ice. Alright, so these turbulences knocked us off course just a tad. Let's see. Let's check our instruments for how much further we need to go. Is that in here somewhere? Is that counting down? Do we have like 100? Is that our like distance that we need to go? This guy right here? I think so, right? Alright, so we have 17 more minutes till arrival. Is that it? It's not that we've flown for almost an hour now. Is that where we need to go? Okay. Okay. So our altitude is right where we want it to be at this speed. Obviously we could fly faster, but I'm not trying to risk it. I'll be right back. And nothing happened. The plane basically flies itself. The plane basically flies itself. Service terminated? Okay. Did you hear my last transmission? Oh yeah, we missed we missed the transmission.
New Zealand Center, Bunny Hop, Bravo 236.
We need to acknowledge it.
C25C, 7 miles southwest of November, Zulu Mike Victor. Request flight following.
Bunny Hop, Bravo 236, New Zealand Center. Squawk 4101.
I have no idea what a squawk code is.
Squawk 4101, Bunny Hop, Bravo
But apparently it's a
236.
confirmation. Information code.
Bravo 236, radar contact 8 miles southwest of November, Zulu Mike Victor, 9,200 feet. Altimeter 29 decimal 87.
Our altimeter is correct. Let's radar contact.
Copy, Bunny
This
Hawk
is us.
Bravo 236.
The one time there is a flight following broadcast from air traffic control, the pilot is not in the cabin. I could have engaged the autopilot, or at least have the co-pilot acknowledge air traffic control. Should have probably done that. This looks nice right here where the clouds hang in the mountains. It's like a whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing. There's like, there must be like different winds coming from the side of the mountains, going up. So they have like different like winds. I don't know how to say that. Sorry. Affecting the turbulences or causing turbulences that we're experiencing right here. How much more time until arrival? Is that still 120 miles? Yep. Should we like hurry a little more? Should we see if we can if we can give her some more. They said below 10,000 feet it's recommended to fly at what, 250 tops? Or above 250 it's considered excessive? No, yeah, something like that. So I said excessive airspeed. How does it look out there? I mean, instrument flight, you'd probably want to do that during night flights. Like when there's like almost black, like pitch black out. We're still climbing. Again, my trim's probably not set correct for these airspeeds. So much for giving her. Our fuel should last us, I feel like, until we get there. Should be close, right? Like 100 and something miles. Almost 100 miles, yeah. Should be there real quick.
Money Hawk Bravo 236, contact Christchurch approach on 123.5.
123.5, Money Hawk Bravo 236. Christchurch approach, Money Hawk Bravo 236, 8,200 feet.
Money Hawk Bravo 236, Christchurch approach, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.88.
I think we got it dialed in. We got it dialed back in. How many more miles till the target? 94. About 95 miles. I feel like once you're in the air and things are going okay, like you have plenty of time. You're not doing like anything significantly wrong. I like the reflection on the wing of the airplane. Like right here, that looks nice. Like it even, it's like deformed to what I would think it would look like reflecting off of the wing of the airplane. The other side reflects too, just a little. A lake. It's a big lake. It's like you don't see like very many like big cities, right? Like this would be a natural point for a city to format because it's like a body of water. And historically, like cities formed around large bodies of water. You can see the circular farming thing again here. Farmland. I have to look that up. That must be like a New Zealand thing. Or maybe they do it elsewhere, but I didn't notice before. This looks nice. Like this hue of blue makes you feel like this is like the freshest water on Earth. Should also be a sweet-water body of water. This should not be salty. Should not be salt water. Alright, now we are running low on fuel and it's 80 more miles. We didn't get the low fuel warning just yet. Let's see if we still make it. Just above 80 miles. 80 nautical miles to go.
Takeoff, Bravo 236, contact New Zealand Center on 129er decimal tree.
129er decimal tree for Bunny Hawk Bravo 236.
Hand over to the next air traffic control tower.
New Zealand Center Bunny Hawk Bravo 236, 7,900 feet.
Bunny Hawk, Bravo 236, New Zealand Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29er decimal 89er.
Adjust the altimeter and keep going. The lever snaps back just a little when I do like these minute adjustments. My throttle, I mean, not my lever. It looks too hollow in there. There should be like... should have passengers. Not sure if you can actually add passengers, but you can custom for passengers on your gasoline usage, on your fuel usage. When you fuel up at an airport, there's like a setting that you can engage that allows you to control the amount of gasoline fueled up into the airplane, and you can account for different weights of pilot and co-pilot. So that's the degree of, I'm not sure we're going to make it without fuel. I'm afraid we're not. Because it's like, we just made 10 miles and we burned through a whole lot of fuel. Yep, it's not looking good. Been in the air for more than twice as long now as we originally anticipated. Again, going off for 20 minutes in the wrong direction is not really helping our cause here. They probably used up all of our fuel reserve, and we just have touched down on the airport that we left, to be honest. There's zero chance we're gonna make this. We have 70 more nautical miles to go and we're at 20% fuel. So I think it's time to give up. Cancel flight following.
Center Bunny Hawk Bravo 236, cancel flight following.
And
Bravo 236, New Zealand Center, cancellation received. Squawk 7000. Frequency change approved.
and find the nearest airport that we can land at. Runway 29 or runway 11. Select runway 11.
November Zulu Tango Lima, traffic Bunny Hawk Bravo 23630 miles southwest, 9,600 feet inbound touch and go left, traffic runway 11.
No response, but it's also 30 miles out. I think we need to select something closer. It's just in the first one on the list. We're at what 2? Oh, we take 24.
November Zulu Unit 4 Kilo traffic Bunny Hop Bravo 23616 miles west 9,800 feet inbound touch and go left traffic runway 24.
Hi, Chet. Then the Curie just says hi. No idea where their airport is, so I'm gonna enable my landing path 8 to just get like a visual indication as to where that airport is. Yep, thought so. I'm gonna go get some fuel and then continue our course. See what they say.
November Zulu Unit 4 Kilo traffic Bunny Hop Bravo 23621 miles west 9,800 feet inbound touch and go left traffic runway 24.
Not sure the size of the airport or anything. I sure hope that we make it over there. And our 8-degree turn here. Totally did not anticipate that the nearest airport could also be an airport behind us, because it doesn't take into account the direction of travel. So let's see if we can touch her down. We can touch and go there.
November Zulu Unit 4 Kilo traffic Bunny Hop Bravo 23617 miles southwest 8,800 feet inbound touch and go left traffic runway 24.
The last time I did attempt to touch and go was somewhere in Alaska on a literally a rock with my Cessna. I don't think I would have landed this guy on that little rock. So we'll see when we get there, I guess. It shouldn't be too hard. Famous last words, shouldn't be too hard, right? Should probably be reducing speed further. as we approach. I just don't want to fall out of the sky like a rock. And probably lose some more altitude. I'm not sure if the camera inside the airplane is much of a help for the approach. Or maybe. There's a... I wanted to point with the finger at the screen. There's a circular irrigation thing. Again. I'm going to reduce speed further. That's maybe too much. We're going to go almost idle power here. You know that when I start concentrating, I stop talking, right? So the degree of my concentration, you can tell by the amount of talking that I'm doing. Alright, first time landing this jet at an airport that I have no clue of how big it is. I think, again, I wanted to point at the screen, I think this is it right here where we want to go down the airstrip. Might as... I think. I'm hearing noises that I'm totally unfamiliar with. Should not forget about forget about my landing gear, right? So let's go down to idle power. Not sure if I want to engage my flaps just yet. Our speed is reducing, right? Yes, our speed constantly reduces. As we come down, it feels like we're landing in the middle of a field. Alright, we need to start engaging our flaps. We are still too fast. I don't even know what the approach speed of this jet is. Like, what is the speed that we need to go at?
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
So we did. Okay, so our flaps helped. We have landing gear engaged. Too slow, yeah. That's what I figured.
Stall. 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 Stall.
So our speed's at 135. Knots, we're a little too low. If I pull her up, we're gonna stall again. Coming in the middle of nowhere. But that's where it's telling us to land. So we're gonna attempt that.
Stall 500.
Yep, this is just the middle of nowhere. This is where we're supposed to land, correct. Alright, guys. This is it. This is it. This is not even an airport. This is just like a... Yikes. Well, we made it. We made it.
November Zulu Uniform Kilo Traffic Bunny Hop Bravo 23 1 miles north 1,600 feet inbound touch and go left traffic runway 24.
So we need to clear the runway so I can taxi to wherever they can give me some fuel, I hope. Let's see if this patch over here is something that is not considered runway anymore. Nope. Whatever this is. Yep, we're clear of runway.
November Zulu Uniform Kilo Traffic Bunny Hop Bravo 236 is clear of the runway.
There's nobody responding. Bukaki.
November Zulu Uniform Kilo Traffic Bunny Hop Bravo 236 is clear of the runway.
I mean, our plane looks good. We made it. Right? So... Can we do something in terms of fuel, please? Just fuel up, like half full, please. Did that the trick? Did that do it? Yep, that did it. We fueled up, guys. We have 50% fuel. That's more than we should need. Runway for takeoff. We just take the same runway.
November Zulu Uniform Kilo Traffic Bunny Hop Bravo 236 is taxiing to runway 24.
Yep. Parking brakes engaged. Let's turn around and see if we can lift up from this runway. Take off. Yep, this is just a Chestnut jet rolling by the road because you call it a runway. God, this is not how I anticipated. Yes, taxiing speed exceeded, I know.
November Zulu Uniform Kilo Traffic
So we're just gonna push her.
236 taking off runway 24 left touch and go.
We made it. We made it, guys. Here we go. Yes. Whatever that was not an airport. At least it wasn't fit for. It wasn't fit for this jet. But we got some fuel. We would have never made it to our final destination. But now we can get back, of course. Back home course. We're climbing fast. Let's talk to air traffic control. Let them know we're back on course. Let's talk to New Zealand Center.
New Zealand Center Bunny Hop Bravo 236 is type Cessna C25C 5 miles southeast of November Zulu Uniform Kilo.
please.
Squawk Tree 644 Bunny Hop Bravo 236.
Overspeed.
Bunny Hop Bravo 236 radar contact 6 miles south of November Zulu Uniform Kilo 9,400 feet. Altimeter 29.85.
Copy Bunny Hop Bravo 236.
All right. That was a little bit of an adventure. I wish my stick had like suction cups at the bottom. It keeps not flopping around, but bouncing around on my desk, which I don't appreciate. Let me sit it down. Sit it down on the mat. Alright, how much? So we went in the wrong way, then we landed on the airport in the middle of nowhere. We have 60 more miles to go. We have enough fuel. We burned the 3% of our entire fuel just for starting, like for taking off. Oh! Did you see that? That was a big one. Ladies and gentlemen, after this brief touch and go in the middle of nowhere, we found some fuel to be able to continue our journey and finally make it to our destination that we set out to go at to begin with, or to arrive at to begin with. Our initial estimate was 25 minutes. We are now at least an hour and a half over, so this flight takes 90 minutes longer than it was supposed to. Well, you paid for the tickets, you get what you pay for. I see like turbulences up here. Just gonna look at this cockpit situation here. 60 miles on the dot. So I tested, in the brief stream before this one, I tested the streaming setup. Everything is looking good right now. Every system is green, no drop frames or anything. Streaming quality should be excelente. Crisp and smooth image here for you. I'm playing in HDR. On the 4K monitor, bringing the stream in 1080p, 60 frames. At high bitrate settings, so that you get all that visual goodness. Can push her a little more, I feel like. You do have the fuel for it. It's 55 more miles. So when I focus on the PY, it tells me probably where that airport's at, right? I think so. So I'm staring right at the airport right now. That's a good amount of engine power for cruise altitude. Chat, do you know? Nandukuri, do you have an idea? All the clouds roll in. This is looking so nuts. We're only delayed by 4 times the amount of time it took to begin with. We're supposed to stay below 250 knots. So that's happening right now. We're at cruising altitude just above the cloud line here. So far we haven't stressed out this Cessna private jet too far with our little stint there on the field, what they called a runway. It was more like I don't know, where I would plant potatoes or corn. 40 miles-ish. We're getting closer. It's a bit like a choose your own adventure. Like fly off in the wrong direction for, I'd say, 20 minutes, and you have to fly back for 20 more minutes, and then you have to get more fuel because you just flew in the wrong direction for 20 minutes. Like, you wasted like 40 minutes of your time. Right? I feel like 30%, like a third of engine power sounds about right speedways on cruising altitude. She wants to stay up in the air by herself, so that's good. I'm not pushing her too hard down. Could even go lower, like with 30%, so just under 33%. Queenstown.
Queenstown Tower Bunny Hop Bravo 236 is 37 miles northeast with Charlie to land.
Bunny Hop Bravo 236 Queenstown Tower. Fly straight in runway 23. Altimeter 29 decimal into wind tree 16 at 16.
Fly straight in. I want to turn off the navigation aids for the landing pass.
Queenstown Tower Bunny Hop Bravo 236 is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Bunny Hop Bravo 236 airport is 11 o'clock 33 miles.
So I fly straight in, so we just need to come down at the same angle. This is runway 23 and we are at 230 something degrees, which matches up quite nicely. So as soon as we can spot the runway, we can actually begin our approach. I just figured out how the runway numbers relate to the direction of travel. Because I was wondering, like, an airfield doesn't have 23 runways, right? So what is runway 23? Like, how did they designate that? And it's not 238 degrees, it's 218 degrees. So you have a full circle of 360 degrees, right? So if you divide that by 10, you're at 36. So runway 0 would be like straight facing north, which barely any airport is built out to, because you want to start against the wind, right? So the wind is either coming from east or west for the most part, for the most parts in the world. So your runways are always like slanted towards the left or the right on the map, like barely facing north or south directly. And so the number of the runway actually gives you the angle in relation to the position of the airport on the globe. So runway 23 is like about 230 degrees in relation to the position of the airport. So if you're approaching at 280 degrees like we are, if you're supposed to be approaching at 280 degrees, and the runway is at 23, that's a gap of about 10 degrees that you need to close, basically. And you know it's going to be to the right, because you're increasing, like 218 or 21 to 23. So you're tilting to the right a little bit to be exactly in line with the runway. That's at least my theory in my head right now. Let's see if I'm correct when we get there. I'm flying like mostly like after my instruments. Like I feel like visual flight rules in this jet is a little harder than like tiny turboprop compared to this jet, because you have a lot more time to figure things out. I'll take back speed just a tad. Hear the engine sound change. It's so nice. And then you switch back to the cockpit, it's like, compared to it, it's like dead silence. Oh, we got it on the radar. Right here, Queenstown. NZQN, that's where we want to go. That is where we're going to go. So I'm going to a little oversteer to the left since our runway is 23. That's what he said, right? Runway 23 for B236. Yes, sir. Because we need to fly like this into the airport, if my theory is correct. Should be at my 11 o'clock.
Queenstown Tower, Bunny Hop Bravo 236 is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Bunny Hop Bravo 236 airport is 11 o'clock, 11 miles.
11 miles. So I'm going to reduce speed so we come down. probably too fast anyways. Yo, we're way too fast. I feel like I should put then the assist back on. Oh, there's our runway. We figured it out. We're way too fast.
Bunny Hawk Bravo 236, cleared to land runway 23. Wind tree 17 at 16.
Cleared to land runway 23 Bunny Hawk Bravo 236.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
We're coming in too hot. We're way too fast. We're at 170, we should be at 135. See if we can salvage this situation. Whoa. Yes.
Bunny Hawk Bravo 236, exit runway when able.
Exit the runway. Yes, we're exiting runway. After that hard landing. Jeez. That wasn't beautiful.
Bunny Hawk Bravo 236, contact ground on 118.1.
Going to 118.1 Bunny Hawk Bravo 236. Queenstown ground, Bunny Hawk Bravo 236, request taxi to parking.
Bunny Hawk Bravo 236, taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha 5 Alpha Charlie, cross runway 32 Charlie Bravo Yankee.
A5 is this way, across runway 3, what does it say, 32? Alright, let's go.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha 5 Alpha Charlie, cross runway 32 Charlie.
I did have a taxi navigation aid. Nope, I'm on a taxi ribbon.
Bravo Yankee Bunny Hawk Bravo 236.
Just because like navigation on the ground is a little more fickle, I typically have my taxi ribbon. Up. Well, this jet's already familiar with what to do in the field. So this is Queenstown Airport, huh? We made it! What do you want me to say in Argentine? I can't say anything in Argentine. I was thinking you would speak Portuguese in Argentina, no? Doesn't Argentina speak Portuguese? Might be totally wrong here. Seems like there's some construction going on here. Nope, these are just houses or barracks or something. Look at that scenic view, like with the mountains. Yeah, it's construction going on. There's a crane. For some reason I was expecting Queenstown Airport to be a little bit bigger. It would be too late by now if the car would have come that way. We have no wind. That windsock looks super lazy. Yep, this is not the most exciting part. But somebody's got to do it, right? I mean, I'm glad we survived this. So let's recap. This was our first takeoff in a jet. Did that, check. Flew into the wrong direction for 20 minutes, check. Had to fly back for 20 minutes, check. Ran out of fuel on our original arrival airport. So we had to land in the middle of nowhere, basically, to be able to land in Queenstown. Check. And we made it in Queenstown after like hair-raising approach. Way too fast. Way too high. But we stuck the landing. If an airplane is that robust in... and it's not that I have damages deactivated, right? So if I go... Assistance... failure and damage. Crash damage is enabled. Aircraft stress damage is enabled. And engine stress damage is also enabled. Icing. So we have the failure and damages on hard. So if we would have been coming like extremely hard, we would have crashed, right? So, and we did. So 2 thumbs up. That was good. It's not like that we have collision deactivated or anything. Nope, we made it loud and clear. Proud and clear. You can see the ground crew there waiting for us. In that little box. Let's try and not run them over. Yes, I know how to steer my aircraft on the ground. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. Showing me I need to go a little further. until he forms an X over his head. That's when I need to come to a full stop. Yep, see that? He's raising his arms. I'm not trying to run him over. There he goes. That's it. Full stop. And shut off engines. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining on this flight to Queenstown from... where did we leave? New Zealand something, right? Where's my nav log? Christchurch, yes, Christchurch to Queenstown. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant rest of your day. Just 3 hours too late or something like that, right? Nope. Please leave a thumbs up on the video, and follow me on Twitch if you want to see upcoming live streams. And this is it for today. I'm going to be playing some more Flight Simulator, and you can be part of that journey if you want to. I'll definitely want to try out the jet engines the next time we go. Bye. It's not allowing me to press the button. So I'm gonna turn off the fuel pump, but everything seems to be inoperable.
Oral warning, okay.
Engines are not started. Where is... well, stream's ended anyways.